from a IT and staff perspective, are we good to go?
You can start at your pleasure, sir.
Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and call to order the meeting of the McLean County Board Property Committee for Thursday, January 7th, 2021. All members are present except for Member Bloomfield, I believe, is the only one we have absent. Before we get to the order of business, just want to take a quick moment and say welcome to our new committee members, Member Wentz, Member Wachinski. Welcome to the two of you, and also Vice Chairwoman of the committee, Woolrab. Happy to have all three of you join the committee and be part of this. And Lori, look forward to working closely with you to help lead this group moving forward. So warm welcome to all. Just to let the rest of the committee know, administration and I conducted one-on-one orientations with our new committee members to bring them up to date on projects that we've been working on and some things the committee had dealt with in our recent history over this past year, and also what we're looking forward to in the future, so we could hit the ground running here on January 1st. So great again to have all of you here, and welcome to the committee. Okay, first order of business on our agenda this evening is approval of the minutes for December 3rd of 2020, and would entertain a motion from the committee for approval. Motion by Member Thompson, second by Member Wachinski. Any questions, discussion, or corrections about the minutes? All right, seeing none, would invite Ms. Morlock to please call the roll. The chairman will vote.
Thank you. Member Woolrab.
Yes.
Member Wendt.
Yes.
Member Bloomfield. Oh, she's absent. I apologize. Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Thompson.
Yes.
Member Wachinski.
Yes.
Chairman Barnett.
Yes. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Item 3 on the agenda, appearance by members of the public. Do we have anyone to speak before the property committee this evening? No? Okay, very good. Well, let's keep moving then. Item 4 on the agenda, departmental matters. 4A, Mr. Doherty, our Facilities Management Director. Welcome, sir. Good to see you here this evening, virtually anyway.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome new members. Happy New Year to all. I'll go through my monthly report here real quick. There were no action items, by the way. I'm sorry to skip over that. For the monthly report of actually things that happened December and early January, I'm going to start at the Juvenile Detention Center. I've been talking the last couple months about power supplies to lock access doors, the security system. My finding so far is we were successful in doing a little maintenance to that system and adjusting voltages on the various power supplies for each wing, and we have had no further module burn-ups on the door. So I think we've had success there. JDC did experience a 6-hour water outage last month due to some hydrant replacements from the nursing home, but all fared well with porta potties and what have you. So no harm done there. We got utility water restored with no problems. We contracted out to Chief City Mechanical to pull the 3-compartment kitchen sink, and this was due to rusted overflow drains. You have to get it away from the wall to facilitate that repair, and I'm happy to report that was completed today. So, doing good. Law and Justice Center, the Kone continues to repair the broken lobby elevator. That's one of the original elevators. The west overhang, the insulating with the contractor is completed, and we've heard nothing but kudos about that project. Occupants of the 3rd floor very much noted the improvement. Their only question was, why did it take so many years to complete it? I don't know. It was before Tim. So we did also, while we were at that, we replaced some ruptured heating pipes to Judge Duffy's office. Is on the west side there. We've discovered these pipes were froze and ruptured many years ago, and so we got those replaced as well. Moving on, page 2, the museum. We've had some new electrical components to change out in the air handlers, and we started on that project. That was from last summer, report that Mr. Coos presented to the board. The roofing update, I know administration is working with the PBC on securing the loan prior to the contract letting to Western Specialties, so that's still on target. We did replace a 6-inch section of cast iron sewer pipe in the boiler room. The pipe had split and formed a small leak. Wasn't anything severe, but we did get that taken care of. So the jail annex. Excuse me. Go ahead.
You had mentioned in your report that was the original pipe. Do you think that was original from when the building was built?
Yes, sir. I would expect. No date on it that I could find, but it's replaced now with, we went back to some good section of pipe and went back with PVC. So.
Well, we got our money's worth out of that original piece, I guess.
I think we did, yes. In the jail annex, I did finish up the year with a memo to administration, the state's attorney, and the PBC regarding the ongoing punch list and some other current actions that have happened since my last update. And that was some, we've had some failures on the domestic hot water for the various floors. That vendor did step forward yesterday and delivered parts to us. We're going to have to provide the labor for that. There's 6 systems that are in question, and the control components that were installed, just give you a little history here. They were 2017 vintage, installed in 18 or 19. And the manufacturer had already said that they were obsolete. So they did step forward and supplied us new controllers. And so far, more than half of the sensors out of 24, we've received 14 so far. So I expect they have a back order on 10. But as soon as we get those other 10 sensors, we're going to proceed to install these new systems. We had a domestic hot water pump failure. That was no problem. We got that going back online. The fire dampers and fireman smoke control panel still seems to be a mystery. And then we had to do some service to the kitchen walk-in freezer. It was having a severe defrost issue. And we did end up calling in the original contractor that installed that project, and he changed some settings on it for us. So we seem to be doing all right now. And then we just discovered that some panic alarms in the old jail are not functioning at all. So we've got to call in for service on that. As far as personnel, I'm still not doing too well. I've got 3 open maintenance worker positions. That's the entry-level position. And I have 1 mechanic 2 position to fill. In the last actually 3-week period, I've received 1 application for each. So this was updated since I wrote this outline. So we're continuing to use contractors as necessary to help out carry the load here. Vehicles, we did receive an old prisoner transport van from the Sheriff's Department, and most likely as soon as the weather cooperates with us, we'll get that cleaned up and put it into service in our fleet. Then storage, I did submit a photograph here on the back side. We're using the outside under the overhang to store some equipment in, so we definitely need some storage somewhere, either on site or off site. That's about the end of my report, Chairman.
Any questions for the committee about the report? Vice Chair will wrap.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm concerned about the wages on the positions you're trying to hire for, because that's originally what you had said, Mr. Doherty, and nice to meet you,
Yes.
committee here. Have we looked at whether we're at market on those? I don't know, through Ms. Rodriguez or Chairman or Mr. Doherty. Do we know, how our wages compare, and do we have an opportunity to adjust that if need be?
We always have an opportunity to adjust if the board is willing to adjust the budget.
Well, I guess I'm wondering what the cost benefit is of hiring contractors. Maybe it makes more sense to hire a contractor, but I guess that's my question, are we better off hiring in-house staff or continue to have contractors?
Yeah, I think that's, I'm sorry. I should say, Chairman Barnett, may I speak? I apologize. I think some of that is case by case basis, and Mr. Doherty would be best to be more specific. But from my perspective, there are times when I absolutely encourage Mr. Doherty to hire a contractor because it's an urgent issue and his staff doesn't necessarily have the expertise. Now, you've got chicken or egg here, because some of the levels of expertise of the folks that are applying for the jobs may not be congruent with the needs of the facilities repairs. Maybe an electrician is needed or a specialty plumber is needed, and that's where I'll probably let Mr. Doherty expound. But it's definitely a challenge when you're looking for the breadth of all of the types of needs we have in all of our particular buildings to find the right staff every single time. So ultimately, I've been encouraging the contracting when we have challenges hiring, but there are issues. And I'll say before Mr. Doherty takes over, Amy Baker from our office in County Admin and I are in discussions with Heartland Community College to do some collaboration with the town and the city. And we have similar challenges of needs of finding skilled workers and looking at building, and it's a longer term solution, Member Woolrab, but building some education and training programs where we can build a pipeline of workers into our systems. But that's a long-term solution.
Did you have something to say on that, Mr. Doherty, or?
I was just going to thank Ms. Rodriguez for adding her comments to that. She's spot on. I've had a couple, the maintenance 2 category is where I'm really, I'm aiming for. That's the highest level here in our department. That's a person that could, know how to use many tools and have at least one craft skill or possibly 2. I've interviewed some good candidates, but when they get here and they hear the wage, they kind of cringe. And then I hear, we'll get back with you, from the candidate. And they finally say, well, they've moved on, they found another job. So I was just on Indeed today and looking around to be sure my applications were still out there, and we hadn't updated that since the end of the year. They're out there now. But I was just looking at some of the wages that were posted, and we're a little under the score, I would guess. What the national average is, or the local average for a skilled maintenance worker, I don't know. We can find that information out though.
And my second question, if you'll permit me, Mr. Chair, is concerning that storage. Are we looking for external to rent some storage there, or find a county space for it?
I'd be happy to assist in that answer. I know Mr. Doherty and I both have big dreams of more storage space. He for equipment and tools, and on our end in county admin, the multiple requests from departments who need to store files that are needed to be held for a certain number of years. We just don't have a lot of space for that. And so he and I have been brainstorming to that end, and even looking at some of the empty properties close to downtown. But we don't necessarily have solutions or budget for that at this point, and we're going to continue to brainstorm in that regard.
Thank you.
Mr. Doherty, is there I'm sure there's a bit of concern, but are you, I guess, have a high level of concern about some of the equipment that you're having to store outside underneath that tarp right now? Is it going to be okay for the winter? Or?
I think it'll be okay. It's the backhoe attachment for our tractor, the mowing deck, some other implement items like that. We made room for the very important pieces of equipment that we have. Rest and sure we have, of course, we have our fleet of 5 trucks is all sitting outside, and they're pretty weathered. So it'd be nice to get some of those newer trucks inside, but I know there's a lot of vehicles that park outside for the county. So mainly equipment. We do sacrifice a lot of, and something that we brainstormed a while on, we do sacrifice a lot of floor space for pallets of salt. And the way we're distributing salt is from a 40-pound bag that we're buying here locally. And when you get a pallet that's 4x4 square, it displaces some real estate pretty quick. And we'll go through, this beginning of this ice storm we had last weekend, we went through almost a pallet and a half. That's close to 70 bags of salt. So we got a lot of area to cover. I don't know what the solution is there. I'm just making mention that that salt does, take up a footprint. We have talked about some kind of a hopper outside that, could sit out under an eave or something like that we could put seasonal salt in. That's been one idea, but, and then, buy our salt from the highway department in the bulk fashion instead of per bag. There may be some cost savings to that. So, but anyway, I just want to make you all aware that storage is a premium.
Well, we appreciate knowing that. If I may, Mr. Doherty, before you go on to the next item in your agenda, I just want to call the committee's attention. Back in September of this year, we rolled out to this committee an annual calendar that administration and I worked together to develop. A copy of that in a more print-friendly form was included with your packet. And you can see by looking at it where we have targeted, just as a reminder to everyone, since we haven't actually talked about this for a couple of months, we have targeted specific things that this committee is going to review or talk through on various months throughout the year. And January on our calendar here is targeted that we're going to have a review of the 2020 capital improvement plan, which is what Mr. Doherty is about to go through, and Mr. Steffa is going to make comments about that as well in his report. Next month, in the month of February, we're slated to do a 2020 budget review where the budget landed for those departments reporting up to this committee in 2020, and then no special items in March, just regular committee business that we would discuss. So that sort of encapsulates the first quarter of the year for our new annual calendar that we're going to be following here in 2021. So just wanted to recap that with the committee. If anyone has any questions at all about that, happy to talk to you at any time. But with that said, and that reminder and introduction, Mr. Doherty, I'd turn this back over to you, if I may, to move forward with your capital improvement plan review.
Yes, sir, Mr. Barnett. I trust everyone's got my the sheet for the CIPS. Starting with the old courthouse, the roof replacement is on there, of course, and that's in progress. The next item, number 3, is a water softener, a new water softener, and that's for the boiler system there. We postponed that project, and I put an X there in the box by admin. I'm not blaming admin. Admin and I discussed it, and there's a couple other projects in here that we decided to postpone. That's no problem. We're still functional with the water softener. We're just looking for, it's quite old, and it may be on borrowed time, but it's not a showstopper. The next building is the government center. We're in progress of replacing the northwest double doors. The single man lift, the next line item, that was procured, and we have put that piece of equipment to good use. By the way, talking about storage, we are storing that in the new jail annex in the delivery ramp area. So that piece of equipment's inside. The parking lot resurfacing, that should not have been on there. There's no monies that, oh, wait a minute. Yes, it is. Those funds are encumbered for 2021. And there was one line item that I did not get in there, and it's the electrical maintenance for the government center, and that value is $15,400, and that is encumbered as well for 2021. 200 West Front Street building, the health department, again, electrical switchgear testing and maintenance is in there, and that's encumbered for this coming April. The VFD for the air handler, that's SF2, stands for supply fan number 2, which is located in the basement. We decided to forego that project too, postpone it for a while. We're getting along just fine without the variable speed. That fan is running straight across the line, so we're in good shape there. The boiler replacement for the health department, that one, there's been no action there. That item is on for 2021, so anxiously waiting to do that. The chiller replacement as well, that's on for another couple years. Juvenile Detention Center, the only thing we have there for 2020 is the electrical switchgear maintenance, and that is funds are encumbered and scheduled for April. Law and Justice Center, the sheriff's doors replacement, we're very successful getting that project completed, and it's been a very nice asset to the building. The coroner's cooler replacement, we did successfully complete that project as well. And all the others there for the coroner's cabinets, those funds are encumbered for 21, and so is the pickup truck and van shelving for the van that we took over from the sheriff's department. Moving on to Metcom, parking lot resurfacing at $15,000. Those funds have been encumbered for better weather next spring. And the electrical switchgear maintenance, the same thing there. Those funds are encumbered for April. Animal Control Center, we've had many discussions about upgrading the HVAC out there. That's all the air conditioning and heating units. And we decided to postpone that one for this next year and move on and wait and see what develops for the animal shelter, whether we move, build a new building, what have you. The roof coating, in the meantime, we are going to maintain the roof, and we do have a contractor on board. He made the spot repairs for this season to get us through the winter, and that roof will be recoated next spring. That's all I have to report, Chairman.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Doherty about our wrap up of the 2020 capital improvement plan? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time and being here at the meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Steffa, our Director of Parks and Recreation. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Just an update on the park. We are dealing with a lot of damage from the ice storm out here. So basically, we've been doing a lot of cleanup around the park. We've had quite a few limbs and trees come down. Right now, we're on a limited staff. I do have one employee that's been out, full-time employee that's been out for a while. So we're down to 2 full-time people, and that's about it, including myself. Or I'm sorry, three full-time people, including myself. Other than that, we've been repairing and maintaining our equipment as we do in the wintertime. And we're also building dock sections at this time to put out in the spring. Other than that, I'm looking to purchase things that need to be purchased, doing research on the internet, and getting some possible contracts ready. Also, I'll be getting a new tractor rental agreement put together and put out here probably within the next month or two. Other than that, that's about it for an update at the park. I'd be happy to answer any questions to this point.
Mr. Steffa, do you, with being down a staff person and with your regular winter maintenance and upkeep items that you have on the schedule, do you have enough hands on deck to take care of cleanup that may be out there from this ice storm that we've had?
It depends on how quick we want to get it cleaned up. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll get it cleaned up. I mean, without getting into, without being able to get into specifics of the full-time person that's been off, I've been weighing the idea of possibly hiring somebody temporarily to come out and help with not only that, but some other things.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Steffa for his general report? Okay. Mr. Steffa, please walk us through your capital improvement plan items.
Okay, the first one I have on the list, we did have in last year's budget a pickup truck to be purchased. It was discussed with the administrator's office to take those funds along with a front rotary mower, which is your normal 72-inch 6-foot deck front rotary mower that we normally use for not only just regular mowing, but mowing the trails. So it's a little bit heavier duty mower. So we decided to forego the pickup truck and combine those funds and purchase a Ventrac system. It's a small articulating tractor-like equipment, and you can purchase different implements for it or attachments for it. And we decided to get a heavy duty front mower, which again, we can still mow with it wherever we want, but it can also mow tree seedlings up to 2 inches. So it's really been helping out a lot. We have been using it quite a bit. We also purchased a sickle bar attachment, which allows us to go down the trails fairly quickly to open up trails. Some of our trails out here are in really bad shape that we just haven't had time nor the staffing to maintain. So that's why when I found this system, I thought it would be a really good piece of equipment to have. We can purchase additional attachments in the future if we get funding. But the main reason we bought this was because of for trail maintenance. and it's greatly reduced the number of man hours and time out here helping open trails back up and get them properly cleaned up and maintained. So on to the next one. Number 2, we purchased a pontoon boat. Again, it went, we paid approximately $18,000, just over $18,000 for that pontoon. And we brought in nearly $28,000 in revenue, which totally blew my mind because I didn't think we'd come close to that. But we do have a second pontoon scheduled to be purchased this year. I have been already discussing purchasing, getting quotes for a second one with area vendors. And when I get the green light to purchase that, it will be purchased. So, but we had a really high demand. The reason to purchase a second one is just we knew we'd be busy with the first one. We knew it'd get used a lot, but we had to turn a lot of people away once we got the first one. So that was why the decision was made to purchase a second one. The third capital item is the Route 66 trail construction. There was a new section that was completed from Shirley, Illinois down to Funks Grove. And from what I've heard, it's been used a lot. So as far as future construction, after talking to Jerry Stokes from the Highway Department, this year is going to be kind of a down year. We won't have any construction from what I understand. There may be some phase 1 items done north from Towanda, just doing a feasibility and doing some of that stuff. So number 4, the acquisition of abandoned railroad right-of-way should be completed by the end of this year. I have talked with a lady at Rivian about maybe possibly donating some funds, and right now they want to delay anything the first quarter of this year, but she did sound rather interested in it and thought it sounded like a great project. So I will definitely be giving her a call back in about the 1st of April. Number 5, our beach house roof. It did not get completed. The main reason why that was not completed was our full-time employee that's been gone. He is a carpenter by trade, so we were going to have him head up this work. And he's been off work, so we pushed this back to this year. And if he cannot come back, we will somehow get it done, even if I have to get up on the roof and do it, but it will be completed. Number 6 is the new bait shop and boat rental building that we had scheduled for last year. The Parks Department, along with the McLean County Sportsman's Club, had come to an agreement that the Sportsman's Club was going to donate $25,000 to a new building, and the county was going to match it to put up a new building. The Sportsman's Club decided to pull back and kind of rescind that for last year and this year, mainly because of the COVID-19 and the inability for the Sportsman's Club to hold their annual fundraiser banquet in February. So they were a little concerned about funds in their account, but in 2022, they're still very interested in partnering with the county to see this through. So we're still very committed to get this done, as well as the Sportsman's Club. And finally, number 7, the campground road repair and maintenance work. Basically, we pushed this off mainly because of the COVID and due to the uncertainty in the economy. We decided to go ahead and push this off maybe till this year or next year, even though it's in bad need. You know, we understand that this COVID-19 has thrown things into kind of a tailspin with the revenue streams and such. So other than that, that's about all I have. I would be more than happy to answer anybody's questions.
Questions for Mr. Steffa? All right. I don't see any. Mr. Steffa, thank you very much for your time and walking through all this with us.
Thank you.
Administrator Rodriguez, we've come to you.
Thank you. Chairman Barnett and membership, I don't have any action items. And the only thing I have is our general report on employment activities, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Administrator Rodriguez from the committee? Okay, thank you very much. Moving next on the agenda, other business and communications. I would just mention to the committee that the Fairview building project that we've been talking about, work is still going on with that in the background. In fact, there was a WGLT article the other day that talked about the Laborers Home Development Corporation, their plan. I believe they're presenting tonight to the normal planning commission to get an update on that and to help move some of those pieces forward. And administration is also working on that project on our side of things. So more to come on that here in the next couple months. Any other business or communication from the committee? All right. I have in front of me bills to pay, number 6 on the agenda. These have been certified by our auditor, bills for a total of $188,965.30, and would entertain a motion from the committee for approval. Motion by Member Smith, second by Member Thompson. Any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, Ms. Morlock, please call the roll. The chair will vote. The chair will vote.
Member Woolrab.
Yes.
Thank you. Member Wendt.
Yes.
Thank you. Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Thompson.
Yes.
Member Wachinski.
Yes.
Chairman Barnett.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you all. All right, this brings an end to the Property Committee meeting for this evening. Thank you all for your time and for your service to the county. Have a good evening. We are